You're most welcome to yet another edition of our broadcast live coming in from the Justice League Uganda. Yes, you can. And yes, we can. Today is yet another interesting broadcast. In the studio, I have two vibrant youths in this country who have joined us in the studio to continue with our journey of Gen Y movement activities. I'm going to give them a chance to introduce themselves, starting with the immediate gentleman on my left. Gentlemen.
Good evening to you all, those that are watching us live. I'm by names of Tumeshe Kent. I'm a political analyst and very, very interested in politics. And we are here to discuss so many things that are running through our country. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken. I will also give the last gentleman on the left hand a chance to introduce himself.
Yeah, I'm from Justice League, Uganda. Era nangezeewo wano kwogera ku politics waffe man. There's a lot you have to share n'ensi yange. Just stay tuned.
Thank you, Gary, International. Okay, my name is Andre, as usual, your host of the show, and expect a lot today, as you have been told by Ken, that we are here to continue with the Generation Y movement, an activity being run by the Justice League Uganda. As I've always told you, pressure group in Uganda. When I talk about the latest and most vibrant, I mean, there are a lot which have been there, Ken. We have had a lot of pressure groups, you get? But when I talk about the most vibrant and most active, I mean, the most followed, the most appreciated, and the most identified with pressure group, which analyzes the system's negative and positive impact on Ugandans, and also tries to critically assess the political situation in this country. So, mubadde mutya bannange? Badde fine. Which ebaddemu bingi ebinsanyusizza, ebaddemu bingi ebidisappointinze, ebaddemu bingi ebyewuunyisa. Wentambulidde eyo, I don't know mwe gye mutambulidde eyo.
Ebintu byo tebibadde byangu okusinziira ku mbeera gye tuyitamu. Gavumenti yaffe eno bingi, oba oliawo kino ne kijja, kiri ne kijja, ebintu ebyenjawulo ebitataganya eggwanga in one way or the other.
In one way or the other. I love that. Okay, yeah, talking about embeera mu ggwanga. Embeera tebadde nyangu. Embeera tebadde nyangu from Western Uganda, Eastern Uganda, Northern Uganda to Central Uganda, embeera singu.
Yeah, for sure.
And you know, kisanyusa, government keeps on thinking that the situation is at hand. Every Ugandan is happy. What do you people think about that?
Uganda terisi mativu. Kimazima abanaganda sho mativu n'ebigenda maaso mu ggwanga.
Okay.
Yeah, olaba ebigenda buli kimu ekigenda maaso mu ggwanga senyamiza. Kati essaawa zino mpulira kati abakulembeze batandise okwetegekako gundi campaign zijja. Naye nga simanyi nga bateekera campaign zijja. Abantu bebateekera campaign bo bali mu state ki bamativu n'ebigenda maaso mu ggwanga owa.
Big question. Yeah. Big question. Abantu bebategekera campaign bamativu n'ekigenda mu maaso mu ggwanga. Abantu bebategekera elections, are they ready to vote? Or abantu bebategekera elections balabyeko the implementation of the last manifestos made by these leaders. So talking about embeera sinungi Ken, but tugume.
Embeera sinungi, but at some point I also don't blame politicians.
Okay.
First of all, what is politics? It's a game.
Wow.
So this game is being played. whether it's opposition or the ruling party, they are both wrong at some point.
Okay.
We have people from opposition who have been there for some good time and they have done nothing. 2 terms, 3 terms, they have been in parliament and we have seen nothing. When you go back to their district that they do represent, a lot of things they are missing.
Wow.
Medical, transport means, the roads are poor, water, electricity. You know, we have our own water all away from the lake.
In Uganda,
but yes, the charges are high. The politicians, the member of parliament, they don't look at that.
Simba Wakatiam. I have a friend of mine who works with National Water and Sewerage Corporation. Teranyo Muzanyisa, you know this gentleman. So he one time just joked Nagamba, do you know that Uganda, see one of the nations, has chances of flowing out with natural fresh water?
Yeah,
that was a fact. Then nanteka another fact nagamba, do you know that Uganda munsi zonna like zezimu ku nsi kyasinze okusasuza sente nyingi for water per meter per liter? Yeah. So I was shocked. I didn't know about this, but that is it. But that is our Uganda. Okay, that was just for Chivozi today. But we can get on business. That was just what was it today, trying to discuss about Embera Mugwanga. But for today, talking of what is making headlines in this nation, political headlines, the Kano himself is back. I'm not gonna say that he has been lost. I'm not going to say that he has been out of the political scene, but maybe he has been silent a little bit.
Yeah.
But this time he pops. Ken, why do you think Decano is back? And can you briefly run people through about the gentleman's his political history and his political journey?
Sir Moderator, I think we should first understand who Dr. Kizza Besigye is. First of all, he was born in April 22nd, 1956.
Okay.
His education background is actually interesting. He's a physician. Then he came into politics later as he joined an ally with Museveni. Later, they began working together.
Okay.
He was his right-hand man.
Right-hand man.
Besides his brothers who studied Museveni.
Oh, that is a shocking revelation, but that talks about the man himself.
Yes.
Dr. Besigye made the name for himself when we were just jumping out of the millennium. That was 2001.
Yes.
When he formed the Opposition Party Forum for Democratic Change, right?
Yes.
He later became a darling of many Ugandans, right?
Yes.
But still, do you think the gentleman really represented the interests of Ugandans?
Not really. Some people, we have different ideologies. What are his ideologies? If you look through his ideologies, you may find that his ideologies are far different from my own ideologies. Okay. So that means at some point, he's not really fighting for me. Okay. If his ideologies are actually far different from my own ideologies, will work out.
Okay. Talking of ideologies, Herbert, why do you think that Besigye has not really represented the interests of Ugandans, and why do you really think that Besigye's ideologies and thinking and representation only represented his own personal interests, not for Ugandans?
Everything is just evident.
Okay.
Otunula kuva oyayingira politics.
Exactly. In 2000.
Yeah. Yajja n'amaanyi nga omuntu ayinza kuba ne change. I have one thing I want to appreciate about him. ye mu bakazanyiikirizi abadde smart.
Okay, yeah. You're calling him a what?
I want to call him mukazanyiikirizi kubanga politics is really a dirty game and politician wonna wetulina mu ggwanga amazima. Mu ggwanga laffe erya Uganda mu current situation tunafuna ba opposition baddala, tulina bakazanyiikirizi bonna okuva ddala ku ntandikwa ever since the system change kyetulotambuliramu. Kati process ogirayo yajja nasobola okonvinsinga abantu over and over okumala akaseera kanene naye na droppinga netuloka tulabawo kalezi kaffe kalike mumanyi wakakofiira gezaako kwekana kanene naye olwokuba nti tabadde nnyo like abadde katemba abadde mutono. Ndabanga saa zino ndabanga Besigye alinga ayagala bwe bagala okuzza mu system naye nga it is all kazanyikirizi tugenda bitunulamu byonna deep kyemanyi mu maaso with our.
So there's one interesting term here you have used, the kasanyikirizi. Ken, can you put more light on that?
Allow me use more of English.
Okay.
Uganda.
Okay, yeah, you're free.
Kazanyikirizi is a Uganda term, but that means a lot of things.
Okay.
But now, relating to politics, it's a very huge game that keeps on manipulating people's understanding.
Wow.
Reason being, if you look through, according to the percentage of Uganda, most of them are not educated. So when you're not educated, the system leaves you out. How does the system leave you out? We were talking about ideologies. Let me first highlight about some ideologies. For example, democracy, human rights, and good governance.
Democracy, human rights,
and good governance. Those are terms that rules this nation. And whichever leader from opposition comes, they come with the same ideologies. Which means it's just a game that keeps on manipulating people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because human rights, already they are there when you go to the Constitution of Uganda. They have been put there. Good governance, everything that this country is ran through is already in the Constitution of Uganda. Democracy, that's when we look into different things that are affecting this country. Politically.
Democracy.
Katiba akazanyikirizi bano be baliwa. For example, he said wakakofiira fena gwe tumanyi. His game is not to change this country. Is not to elevate this country to another level. If you want to change this country, there are things that you are supposed to look at before you come into public. First of all, Gwenga Kazanyikirizi, what is your background? Besides him being a musician, what is his real background? He has not been having that political background in his entire career? And then the Bible says it. It talks about it. Leaders are
born. Naturally.
They are chosen. Leadership is not made. You get it?
I get.
So when you go into different things, different perspectives on how we view things, leadership is not made. When you look into his background, he's not having any political background.
Honestly, talk about that.
So,
and let me tell you, how do you trace this gentleman's political background? How did he start? How did he enter the Ugandan political arena? How did all this drama start?
This whole drama began when he became a member of parliament. But before that, there was someone pushing him.
Okay.
Remember, you get it?
Okay.
So, but going back to the university, he did MDD. Going back to his secondary high school, of which we are not sure of, he wasn't a leader.
We have never heard of an...
Yes, looking through his CV. In his primary, there is nothing that represents that he was a prefect.
So the gentleman has no renowned political background.
Nothing like that.
He just popped out of nowhere.
Coming
your way from the Justice League studios. out here to enlighten Ugandans and to keep on sensitizing Ugandans, keep on sensitizing youth and calling upon youth to join hands with the Justice League Uganda, join the Generation Y movement to try and enlighten Uganda, to try and spot out the injustices, the so many mischiefs committed against the youths by the system, by the opposition leaders, by individual greedy citizens. Today in the studio, we are talking about the opposition parties. We are talking about how legit, how true to their word are these opposition parties to a normal Ugandan. Do they really represent the interests of a common Ugandan, or they're aiding the system in looking legit before the seers and the international community? In the studio, I have Ken and Herbert alongside Andre, reaching you straight away from the Justice League Studios. So, Ken, welcome back.
Thank you.
Talk briefly about this, the reunion or the Alava Fair or the good days between the Kano and the top man of this nation. Briefly take us through those years, and we try to connect how a man who worked for the system, how a man who treated the general in the bush later popped out and branded himself as the top opposition leader in this country. Briefly take us about those days in the bush and which roles did this gentleman play during the famous 5-year guerrilla war.
Thank you, moderator. Going back into their past history, Kano, Dr. Chiza West was a medical doctor.
Okay.
He could assist those army officers that were injured and playing other roles as well.
Okay.
But there is a saying that says, in a war of ego, a winner always loses.
In the war of ego, a winner always loses.
Yes.
Wow, I like that. What does it mean, brother?
This has been a war, okay, between the two.
Okay.
You cannot outsmart your master.
Wow.
Museveni has been his master
for a very long time.
For a very long time. You cannot just come from out of nowhere and you outsmart him. Look at the general elections of 2001.
Mm-hmm.
What happened? A lot of things happened.
Yeah, a lot transpired.
A lot of money was put. Where when you look through how much presidents put in, the presidential candidates, how much they put in to run the politics, their games, is a lot of money.
Okay.
What is his source of income as a doctor? We have to first look at his salary.
Okay.
How much was he earning before he came? By the time he was still in army as a medical doctor. That money that could facilitate each and everything. 2001 elections, he lost. He came back. 2006, still lost. 2011,
he came back.
Still lost. 2016, he came back, still lost. What does that mean?
Does it mean that he was power hungry? Does it mean that he was smart enough that these people could not let him go? Or it means that the Ugandans did not love him?
Not really. Some Ugandans are so much enlightened about so many things.
Okay.
And if it has been poor leadership from the president, then they could have changed. Reason being, himself, Kano, he knew the strategy that the president uses. How come that he doesn't overpower the strategy? When going deep into real politics, leaving this out, opposition and the ruling party, we don't have any opposition in this country.
Wow.
Totally down. totally being games.
Talk about the freedom given to this political or to these opposition parties.
Yes.
The freedom to operate their businesses, the freedom to travel freely, the language they use. Kweli mulowooza nti singa bano abantu babadde genuine. Do you people think they could be using the languages, the hard languages sometimes they use? Do you think sometimes they could be left to move freely the way they move? Do you think they could be really left to operate businesses without this, the system closing them up? I mean, talk about this in relation to case obviously.
In relation to that, there is a lot of freedom in Uganda that has been given to them. For example, in Rwanda, giving just an example. In Rwanda, you are not supposed to walk more than 3 to 4 people. It becomes something else. For them, they move freely with gangs, with a lot of convoys. That is freedom, first of all. So what does that mean? Does that mean that they are well protected? Or it means that they are working under someone? Look into their businesses. If we want to confirm this, we can actually easily confirm it with URA. The taxing system. How much do they pay? Because they have a lot of businesses in this country.
These opposition leaders?
Yes. Besigye has so many petrol stations. He has taxes over 100. How much does he pay? Can we track this from URA and we understand how much he pays per annum? There is nothing like that. Even if you look into their system, these people are tax free.
So these are like, so ekyo kyewuunyisa muna Uganda. Engeri omuntu gy'asobola kuvaayo balwanirira n'ayogera ebintu ebikwata ku gavumenti nga birumya oluusi nga biri strong. Nakozesa language eri strong nnyo. System n'emuleka business ze nga zidduka. System n'emulaga nti abeera freelance nga asobola kutambula kuva mu ggwanga paka mu ggwanga nga teri amukwoteko. And talk about this issue. What was the drama between Besigye's wife and how did she graduate to where she is now? Don't you think she had the support of the system? Do you think she reached there on her own or by merit?
It's what I want to compliment on.
Yes, sir.
As a number original of Uganda,
no problem.
Malaysia, Java dressing a Murimio or Ungereza. Now, the number of opposition, over the shadow. They are really sponsored by the system.
It's like a shadow parliament.
Yeah.
Or a shadow government.
Definitely. We in Uganda really don't have an opposition. If Besigye ran 2001 now losing 2006 now losing now works at running now losing ajawa sentes is running all this thing nenga ta guamu always the sentes as jawa system kubanga system yakola ki
the system funds them with 3.8 billion
every electoral
to come the
3.5 billion
3.8 billion.
Yeah.
Wow.
Kakati katize wizo watu mfema ze mu daily life also ogwe osobola okusasula mu aja kubba abaze kubba
otekisoboka
kati kiringa kyekyo kiringa bwe kityo ti system sasula wana position
bajje batole obufuzi
bajamulani definitely win by yono was just call because sin kuzanya katemba kitim kyendo kugaba from the start kati simani ndabanga Besigye ali kumulamwa gwa kudda bali kumulamwa gwa kumuza for next man olezo te strategy this time bantu ogenda balimba otya obonfuna simanya.
Okay, so for you, you're saying it is true the system is using these people, they are fooling the nation. Nze kisinga kunuma muno katemba bana basajja gwe baleetedde eggwanga abantu bafiiramu Then
for that.
government spends a lot of money on maintaining these elections. Then the Ugandans they are always kept in the darkness. It has a stagnated development playing to the tune. What do you have to say about that, Ken?
If you look through, blame, I blame us, the Ugandans. Reason being, it's us who chooses who leads us. We vote for those people that are going to represent us into the parliament.
Okay.
So when they go to parliament, what do they do? Do we actually ask the voters? Do we actually understand the constitution of Uganda? Because a member of parliament cannot decide on which or on any kind of activity within the government.
Within the government.
For example, if there is a road that is supposed to be worked upon, an MP cannot decide anything apart from the whole parliament. Okay?
Okay.
Do people actually understand what the constitution is? Of which, no. Most of them, they don't really understand. They don't read. As a saying that says, if you ever want to hide anything from an African, put it into writing.
Hide it into a book.
Yes. If you look through most of all these leaders, they are leading us through the past.
Through the past.
Of those great leaders, Napoleon Bonaparte, all those.
The Bismarcks of this world.
Yes. So when you look through us, the voters, it's us with the problem. We get excited. These people are. Yes.
You're trying to throw back the blame onto voters.
Yes.
Are you trying to say that voters should not participate in the electoral process? Are you you're trying to insinuate the fact that elections are useless in this nation, or you're trying to inform the nation that elections shall never or will never change the political question of this nation?
I'm two-sided now. First of all, elections are useless.
Okay.
Yes. If you look through how people that have been elected, they have done nothing. Okay?
Okay.
Who chooses a minister? It's the president.
Yeah.
RDC, it's the president. Do we really understand the three words? Power, authority, and influence?
Power, authority, and influence.
Yes. Our leaders are powerless. They have no authority. They just have influence. What do I mean by influence? That's when you go back to your voters in the village and they gather in 1,000 numbers. That's influence. You have influence over people. Okay? And all these political leaders, they have understood the assignment of using social media. TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. That also makes them gain influence, but without power and authority. So it's the main man, His Excellency, who has the power and authority. He leads, he controls, is capable of doing each and everything. So us, the people, when we go and vote for the so-called MPs, may I call them the so-called MPs? The so-called. Because they do nothing for me. They don't represent me. Okay? We tend to use our excitement that is always given, bathing through their salary, 25 million. And you have been in parliament for 5 years, okay? When you get 25 million and you go to the bank and you ask for a change of 25 million of 1,000, 2,000, and you go back to your district where you represent and you give 2,000, 2,000 to each and every one, they become excited.
Exactly.
When you have done nothing. So this excitement also affects them because at the end of it all, he says, I gave them money. He comes back into the parliament, he sits, he enjoys his money. Look at different privileges they get. Everything, medical, their kids are in better schools. Whoever says that is an opposition, whoever says that is in the ruling party, they are all games played. Look into the system of the so-called
I'm saying that elections are useless in this nation.
Yes.
People should boycott elections. People should demand for the resignation of most of their leaders. Because honestly, they have failed to measure to
what I'm saying
their
that is,
expectation.
looking through one of the opposition leaders,
Mhm.
Honorable Bonyeko,
Nyeko.
when he went back to his district,
Mhm.
his supporters chased him.
Okay.
They chased him, his real supporters, saying that we voted for you, knowing that you will represent us, and you have done nothing. And here you're back with your small cash that you want to give back to the community, to the borders. They chased him. When they chased him, now he came back to social media to look for influence, saying that, yes, when you go to his social media, his ex, he tweeted saying that there is a group of people who wanted to take him in a drone. There are nothing like an evidence that defends him, that protects him of what he's saying. It means he's looking for an influence back away to his what? To his supporters.
Thank you, Ken. Back to you, Herbert. Herbert, I know you're one of the youths I really admire in Uganda here. You're among the youths who have also been exploited by these politicians. Talking of the NOOP, and it is parading recently. Youths are celebrating the birthday of their principal, and the events that followed, the arrest of Nyanzi, later being released and dropped somewhere, handcuffed. Kiki ekiri mu ggwanga? NOOP efumba kaki?
NOOP nze ndaba nga eri just mu fear. Kiyinza okwogera katrina kubanga yo nayo kennyini kati ekiraba nga its time is over mu kulaba okwangu. Just baligezaako okulimba libantu ti they still have something nenga toyinza they are saying that you can fool all the people sometime, but you can't fool all the time. Yeah. Kati ye akasaale ke kale kabadde Katonda amaze olulimba.
Amaze okuzanyawo.
Yes, ne kati bino bya parade is nothing. Ali just gezaako kwogera kuzimba kazanira kwa just ye yaweddeyo dda bamugwamudda bantu bamala dda omuzuula nti ye project ya system. Kati era nayakyalanga era system yino enamutata talina lugendo kubanga
ekisinga kunsanyusa Ken bagamba that NOOP has now reduced itself to spying for the government, identifying spying for the system, identifying for them youths who are really courageous, who can participate in any revolutionary act, and it has succeeded in that. Looking at that, a lot of people went missing. A lot of youths went missing after the 2021 elections. The principal made noise, release this, and recently we talked about a certain gentleman called Chibalama. That guy disappeared. He was one of the councillors in Nasana. There was a NOOP supporter. He disappeared, and people looked for him. People cried, but he just disappeared. He has never appeared. So bagamba nti you NOOP kyegambye. NOOP kyeyambye nnyo system okwidentifying abavubuka na kubasibya. What do you have to say about that?
Thank you for that good question. What I can say about that is that it's very true. Reason being, if you look at the four cores of NOOP, I'm meaning their president, Chaguranyi. I'm looking at the secretary, Lubongoya. I'm looking at their lawyer, Katana. I'm looking at Joe Senyon.
The four
cores. Leaving alone the president, their president, Chaguranyi. And I look at these two cores, Katana and Lubongoya. There have been students that have been on state sponsorship throughout their education. From Harvard University. Who's that fool that can allow you to work for opposition, yet he paid for you?
Big
up
question.
To Harvard University. Not one of the but the biggest university
in the world.
And you come back here and you start playing all those games.
Yes.
Secondly, when you go back to their families are never involved into this. Their kids,
Okay.
their relatives, they are never into this.
Okay.
So what do? They come here to influence. Remember the three words that I said: influence, power, and authority. They come back to the youth, they influence them. When they get arrested, for them they come out. And the so-called, I'm quoting that, political prisoners, they stay in prison. For them they come out.
Political prisoners.
So the political prisoner is left into the prison and the big guys are out of the prison. Who are they?
So are you trying to say that the real politicians get out?
Yes. And then the users, the ones that are being used,
remain in prison?
Yes.
How about?
Because that one highlights the power and audacity that these so-called political prisoners do have. They can do anything, they can attack. So when they are arrested, it's fine. It's a business for them. They again go onto the streets and look for more.
They look for more.
Yes.
So you're saying that NOP has executed this role so well. NOP has participated in imprisoning a lot of youths, torturing a lot of youths, disappearance of so many youths.
Yes.
And I wonder, why are Ugandan youths still so mad with with NOP? When will people realize that this gentleman, with due respect, the Honorable Sentamu, you're playing with the nation?
Now, going into that, first look at Mr. Chagulanyi's background. Where he came from. He said he built his house Magere when he was 25.
Okay.
Where did he get the money to buy all that land?
I thought he was a musician. You mean he was not being paid in music?
By who? How many shows?
Okay.
Going back then.
So you're saying there's some other source?
No. I'm not sure of that, his sources of income, but I'm trying to throw some light on what he says.
How did that?
He says that this country is being affected, there are no jobs, but for you, successful. How did you make it? The goal, the main aim he could be telling Ugandans, the main aim he could be telling the youth is how he got successful.
Share the story.
This and this. I worked here, I saved my money, I invested the money. Not fighting the ruling party. Because Museveni says he fought Obote. With his 27 guns. But as well, we are not sure of that. Were there 27 really?
Good question. Good question.
Because, first of all, we are not there. 27 guns. How?
That's what they say.
Yeah. Now, relating to all this, Bob Wine could be telling people, the youth, how much if you get 10,000.
What can you reproduce it?
Because money keeps on multiplying. $1 like this, it is very hard for Uganda.
Okay.
$1. $1 very hard. So if you get $1, what are you supposed to use it? Are you supposed to go and buy Mailungi otandiko Gaya akakola? Every time bagamba, bakanya bagamba, we are removing a dictator. Which is very wrong. But for you already successful, even before you came into politics, you were fine, driving an Escalade. Your kids going to far better of schools.
Simba wakati yao, brother Ken. I know the debate is getting heated. Kuba leero kye tuliko kyakulabisa nga we tukola every day. We Ugandans are not going to be fooled. We Ugandans are not going to be kept in the darkness. Fe ngaba Justice League tugamba nti NUP ekoze injustice ku bannayuganda bonna. And mostly our youth get is entangled in the drama, ne babula, ne babeera imprisoned, abamu ne bafa. They are demanding for justice from NUP. Era we bituuse the principals and the top management, the core leadership of NUP. Tubadde tubasaba from the Justice League. Muveeyo mwetondera abannayuganda. Kuba mubakoze bubi nnyo. Abannayuganda babaagala nga bamanyi mubalwanirira ne babaagala pozi mubayuwayo muligo n'omusajja gwe bagamba nti yagendanga ng'alonda abalema ng'abayuwa mu River Nile. Mwena mwaliwo engeri gye mutulondamu bayuuti ne mutuwa identify nga mulinga zi GPRS tracker ne mufuna bali abamalayo ne mubasaddaaka. So we are saying Ugandans need you to account for the mistakes you have done. Ugandans need an apology from you people. And then you need to demolish and dissolve the NUP party because but anyway, just embodied Tabusemu. But back to Herbert. This is coming your way from the Justice League, Uganda. In the studio, I have Herbert, I have Ken, trying to show Ugandans that we don't have political parties in this nation. We have dummy political parties. We have, they're called puppets?
Yeah, sure. It's also a nice word.
Okay. So, Herbert,
yeah.
As we summarize and as we wind out this, talking of elections, we handled about elections briefly.
Yeah.
Talking of elections, people have always demanded for political reforms in this nation. The Honorable Chagulanyi himself, after losing the 2021 elections, he said he will never participate in the electoral processes of this nation, not until certain electoral reforms are implemented by the Electoral Commission.
Yeah.
But after he twisted the tongue, first it was ballot or bullet.
Yeah.
Then Mubikwase Chagulanyi. And then Mwebereremu.
And then later he went for the court first.
Mm-hmm.
That he was cheated.
And
so talking of that, Chiche Chigenda Mumaso nga buli omwate is gearing back or come out to participate in the election, and yet we very well know that the government has not implemented any electoral commission. The electoral commission, so many electoral reforms have been suggested by most political parties, but it has not implemented an electoral commission. Then why are these political parties again willing to participate in this process, well knowing that it's not going to be free and fair?
blame eyo manji teka kufa balonzi kubanga everything buli kimu kiri clear nti akalulu temuli suubi mu kalulu kati kenjogere kono omulenzi ono Bobi Wine akalulu kali akawedde wekagwa ddala tulejukanyemu kubanga ekitutafa balonzi ffe twerabira batulimba nnyo ekiro twerabira nnyo ebibabise ebirema ebigenza naye nga history repeats itself nga kyekiba kigenda kuddamu kibeewo kyaliwo oba toweejukizako ne weekaanya obanga ojjukira akalulu akakaggwa sajja ngeri yatandikamu strategy zonna twebereremu buli kimu tugenda ballot paper time netuuka akalulu ne katuuka ku lunaku lwennyini olw'okulonda sajja yennyini n'agamba abantu temufaanayo I have everything set, I have everything under my control. Gugenda sula bale ticking akaluluko okasulemu deka weewumulire totawana ku makalulu. I remember very well a statement ya Bobi Wine kalulu ne kaggwa ne bagenda mu kooti akirenya nti bamubya akalulu ekyava mu kooti basajja bafuna ofunye agreement resolving the constitution, as you say. He will run again. Kalina bamanyi we batisa kwa
yakola deal.
Yeah.
You're trying to say that yakola deal
ne
system
yali abiddwa nga buli omakirenga abiddwa lubonnanga buli omakirenga buli obujulizi wali banonyo bulala ngakyava ku polling stations zonna kimanyi.
Okay, Herbert.
But we can't be sure.
What is your take?
We can't be sure of that according to different electoral reforms. I may talk about introducing electronic voting, of which it cannot happen. When you're on opposition and you opt for electronic, you're losing. You might actually lose 80% because the government has the capacity to shut down internet and put it back
and manipulate the electoral
yes.
electronic.
Another one is campaign finance resolutions. that political leaders are not supposed to be given a lot of money to put into their campaigns, of which, remember, still opposition loses because you don't have the money to fund the campaign.
Are you trying to say that these are some of the political reforms that were suggested by...
Yes, by Mr. Chakolani.
Okay.
Number 3 was regulating freedom of speech and assembly.
Yeah. Okay.
Of which one that doesn't change anything when it comes to electoral reforms or voting. It doesn't change anything. Number 4, it was again measure of against public servants engaging in political activities.
Measure public servants were supposed to be checked, not supposed to engage in public politics.
And who's supposed to be there?
If not the public servants.
If you choose yours, I choose mine, who will win? Still, the ruling party will have to win. And then he said number 5 is limiting military involvement into elections. Who's going to protect the votes? People? It needs some quiet understanding when you're opting for all these reforms.
But wait, those reforms implemented?
Who's supposed to implement the reforms? It's the parliament.
They have not implemented them.
But has the parliament ever debated these reforms?
No. You have to write the statement to electoral commission. So electoral commission takes it to the parliament. So the parliament.
So he didn't do this.
Yes, the parliament has to give back the feedback to electoral commission.
That's why I want to continue that point from there. Kati buli kimu tekinako kuda mu nteeka, they haven't implemented anything. Era ne parliament tekisulangamuko. Kati okakasa otya omuntu yenna nti this time ogenda kwawukanako omwaka oguwedde nga buli kimu kikyali mu bbanga. Tewali kyakoleddwako.
Big question. So for us, we are saying, if these political parties are serious that they are representing the interests of Ugandans, they should come together. They should unite and front one maybe candidate to take on the big man. But what happens? They keep on fooling Ugandans that, hey, this time we are coming together, we are going to unite, and then they fail to unite. Then the same drama continues. So for us, we are saying, Ugandans, think twice about the elections in this country. But the best you can do is to put your politicians at stake to account for their mistakes. And we are saying the whole system is rotten, right from the top up the bottom. The whole system is rotten. And Ugandans need accountability. A lot of Ugandans have been injured. A lot of Ugandans have been, how can I put it, Ken?
I think most of Ugandans have been left behind.
A lot of Ugandans have been left behind, but at the same time also manipulated.
Yes.
So for us, we are saying enough is enough. We, as the Generation Y, the youths of this nation, we are saying if we put it before the people to decide the order of the day, it may not be right. So people, before we reach you, put yourselves well, handle our taxes well, represent your people well, but also just know that we don't have an opposition. As we can see from the Besigye, the games they are playing, the Nooks, the games they are playing. So we know the end result with the Besigye drama. Most political analysts in town are saying that the man is coming back. No. All this they're taking him through imprisonment, hunger strike, then release Besigye, free Besigye. They just want to, as you said, create influence, bring him back.
Holding our attention again.
Exactly.
We have to hold firm on and stick to the fact that the winner opposition in the nation right now.
Exactly.
And the solution for that, we know kuva kukalulu. Like the solution agenda bamu. Twanga tisigala kena mukalulu. Gasina opposition ekimu ekigena maso kubanga okiraba okitegedde bulungi nti
coming your way from the Justice League. Let me hope tonight somebody gets justice in Uganda by knowing that we don't have any opposition party in this country. So as we wind out this show, we are going to maybe summarize. Everybody summarize, give his last take, then to Weya Katalekeka, as we summarize this show, to see that we continue enlightening Ugandans about the coming back of Kizza Besigye and what it means to this nation and political arena. So, Mami Ken, as we summarize, what did you have to tell a Ugandan youth listening to you now?
So as I wind up, I would like to tell the Ugandans that we need to wake up. We should have a wake-up call to all our lives. Mostly, this country is being more focused on politics, and they are leaving out other things that really benefit us.
Oh, talk about that, brother.
Let's have a wake-up call. Focus on things that really matter, not things that really distract us. Because looking through this whole game, you find that 80% are the poor people, more focused on this politics, and the 20%, which is the rich, they don't involve themselves into this politics because they are looking for so many things from the government. For example, tax avoidance, a lot of things from the government. So you find that they are not involved into this politics. And at some point, as we all know, what is happening in the United States, it's the rich that decides.
It is the rich that decide.
Who's supposed to be the president? Right now, it may be Elon Musk taking over Trump, according to what we are seeing.
Exactly.
That is evident.
You get? So it should be a same reflection about our country. Tuzuukuke buli omu yeebereremu amanye kyayagala n'abaana abajja mu maaso tubawe foundation ennungi because ye eggwanga lyo liweddewo, whether you're in opposition, whether in your ruling party, everyone works for their own families. Let's have a wake up call. Tugende tukole, tuyingire street. Kyensobola obagamba akatalekeka. Teri nsi njavu. Ekisinga okuleeta obwavu, it's all about what you produce. Nti sente zaffe tezirina value. No. Sente zaffe zirina value, but what are our imports and exports? That's the only thing that makes money have value. For example, mu Africa yonna ng'ogigasse. Kano njagala mukawulize bulungi. Africa yonna currency ze tulina. There is no currency in Africa that runs a transaction in Asia.
Okay.
Ugandan shilling ogitwale mu America. Nti nyina Ugandan shilling. They will say, we don't know that money.
We don't know that money.
They need US dollar. There is no currency in Africa that runs a transaction in America, in UK. It's not there. Let's have a wake-up call. Tuzuke, fena tugende tukole.
Amina. How about you? As you're winding out to... Okay. Chendavye ku Ken. Thank you, Ken. Akatereke kako. As you wind out, you call upon Ugandans. Ukuva mu katembo no. Ugandans to become more accountable and Ugandans to participate in ebintu ebizimba eggwanga lyabwe rather than okwenyigira mu mivuyo gy'aba politicians, rather than okuzanyira ku tune y'aba politicians, cause mwaba bazimbisa, ignore them. Let them bring their money, muzirye. But at the end of the day, shun this process. Don't go there. So, how about osembizayo chinde na kataleke kako?
Eggwanga nze kyembalekera ndowooza kiri mu ggwanga twalibadde nga twesitukiramu ffe ngaffe abalonzi, obubaka bw'abalonzi, kubanga abalonzi ffe tulina amaanyi agafuga eggwanga lyaffe, agatambuza eggwanga lyaffe, ffe tulina amaanyi gali mikono gyaffe. It's only that bano ba politician bajja ne batulimbalimba olwa obutamanya bwaffe, naye nga wetubeera bold tusobola okubagoba ne tubalagira nti man kino kintu kiriwe nti mujja tulimba wano nawo omukozi waffe kubanga ebiseera ebisinga muba n'ebyokwogera n'ebyokwemulugunya bingi kwa politician bammwe nga bali mu bisanja byabwe bwe babateeka mubemulugunyako nnyo naye ebiseera ebisinga kampeyini we zikomawo ate buli kaseera ke balina okukomawo gy'oli okusaba akalulu ate muba mwerabira dda okwemulugunya kwammwe kwonna like emirimu gyonna gye bakoze obubi gyonna muba mwagyerabira. Ndikubiriza abalonzi baleme kweranya abantu abeerabira. Politician oyo kati tugenda mu campaign bagenda kukomawo wakomawo tubeere solid tubenga tubagambirewo like the fact mu maaso gaabwe kye batakoze era tubagobereko kubanga ife tulina amaanyi n'ekirala okwebereramu like bano bakyali batugamba okwebereramu naye ekituufu tebali kubereramu gwe bali kwebereramu bongabo wonga gwe omulonzi otesitukiramu no protestinga kyolina protestinga tolina kyokoze tubebereremu kana akalulu akaddako oba tukagaana tukale kubanga tojja kulonda ng'olonda mpewo kubanga ekifo ogenda kulonda mpewo opposition teriiyo ruling party eryemu tetulina opposition mu Uganda akalulu kano tulina just kuprotestinga ngaffe abalonzi tulina obeera nga tutegeeza kyetwogera.
Okay. Oh, thank you, Herbert. So I have a friend of mine who has always told me that chimucho kache yayiga ku mulenzi we Kamoja is okwebereramu byonna bisigadde fake. But I thank you people for coming around. I thank you people for honoring the invitation to appear into the studios of the Justice League. Just know that you made a very good decision, and it is remarkable, and we appreciate that you have played a part in being a mouthpiece to them mouthless, actually helping very many oppressed regain their justice. And nze akaterekeka kange kali kamu byonna bye mukoze and byonna bye mu planning okola, just know God is watching. You people came around, you promised us heaven on earth, but murutuyisa mugeyena. A lot of Ugandans have run out of this country because embeera teziberekeka. Bana baffe bangi nnyo bali kubonabonera Bwarabu, abamu bali mu the tough cold environment in Canada because you people have made this nation a hell. But Ugandans are saying that you can do better and other people can do better if you people you're tired. But this goes to the politician, to the opposition politicians. The love affair you have made with the system to confuse this nation is coming to an end. But Uganda realize that you people are playing games. You're fooling Ugandans. And we in Uganda, we have concluded that we don't have an opposition party. So wake up, Ugandans. Maybe try another, but elections are a waste of time. So Katarekeka, calling upon all our how they call partners, national partners in this nation, and all those who are justice-loving people to join the Justice League Uganda in making sure that Ugandans, Uganda regains its position in democratic states. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel, Facebook channel, TikTok. Can follow us, and as we serve the nation. For tonight, that's all we had from the Justice League studios. For you, for today, we sign out.
Bye.
Bye.